Well, everyone, the iPhone 10, in my opinion, was one of the more interesting phones that Apple has ever made. It was probably one of the most impactful iPhones Apple has made at that as well. But I will tell you, if you're in the market and if you wanted to go ahead and use some sort of iPhone, and if you're in a pinch, I don't really think it's that bad of a deal or bad an idea if you actually end up using your iPhone 10 again. And if you actually do have an iPhone 10, and if you were planning on, upgrading or whatever, you might be okay if you end up using your iPhone 10, maybe for like another couple of months. Now, I do think by the time iOS 18 comes around, things are probably going to change a lot more, but I didn't even realize at a high level as to what, basically security updates you're missing out on if you're not upgrading your iPhone. So Apple made a statement a couple of years ago stating that if you don't get the latest and greatest iPhone, or if you don't get the, an iPhone that's on, still supported with software, you're basically going to be missing out on some sort of key iOS features. Now, it looks to me that there's obviously some differences between the mainline iOS 17 build and something like the iOS 16 build that the iPhone 10 kind of ended off at. But I will still tell you the differences probably aren't even that high. And if as long as you're okay with having somewhat of a less secure iPhone, but still getting some sort of software update, I think you might be okay with something like the iPhone 10. Now, on top of that, I'm not recommending people switch from an iPhone 15 to an iPhone 10, but I would also probably add to that if you're in the market and if you run into an iPhone 10 of some sort, I don't really think it's, again, a bad idea if you end up using that iPhone for a little bit of time. I think the performance of this iPhone is not bad. This iPhone is still getting some sort of security updates right now, so I think that's a very, very important thing to keep in mind there too. And I would also say on top of that with the iPhone 10, the display of this iPhone is still so good. It's easily one of my most favorite things going on for this particular iPhone, and every time I go ahead and pick up this particular device and mess around with it, I'm still shocked by how good of a job Apple did with this, panel. I talk about it all the time, but it's just still one of the craziest things ever, and I'm in love with this panel for sure, and I think the build quality is still very, very good as well. Like, you can't really go wrong with this, particular iPhone at a very high level. Again, it's not an iPhone I would recommend the average person to go ahead and buy, but once again, if you're in the market and if you're in a pinch or if you already own this iPhone, I really don't think it's a terrible device. I also think the performance is honestly not even that bad either. So if you're walking around and if you're trying to figure out if you should still continue to use this iPhone or not, if you cannot afford to buy a brand new iPhone or a different type of device, I do think getting a device like this really isn't that bad of an idea, and you might be okay if you end up using your iPhone 10 maybe for a little bit longer. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.